Hey, universe and mining family. Grab your shovels and your pickaxes. Welcome to the show. I'm Nemesis, and of course, I'm not your babysitter. Do your own research, but let's dig in. Yo, Crypto Nation! What's going on, mining family? And guess what? It's that time again where I'm doing some more awesome testing. Been testing that RX 570 16 gigabyte GRIN miner, guys. As you saw in the previous videos, I had it on Hive. It would mine pretty much anything that I pointed it at. Although Ravencoin did not like the drivers for the GRIN mining card, would not turn the fans on. As soon as it kicked on the miner, fans off. It's like, you can't be mining with your fans off. That's what really grinds my fans, I'll tell you what. But I've just got it with the help of my man Crypto Mikkel. Big shout out to that guy. He is a lot more familiar with Linux than I am. So again, this is the first time that I've ever really used Ubuntu or Ubuntu, however you want to say it. So let's kind of dig into it, guys. As you see here, there's a big epic hole where a couple of graphics cards can fit in. And see if I can get my camera to actually show this. But as you see, I got the Sapphire card down there in the bottom. Yo! So I had to actually, with, of course, all this awesome testing, found out that I couldn't use them on my risers. So my risers, they work great, no problems. But the problem is that it needs to be in a Gen 3 slot. This will act like a Gen 3, most certainly. But when it goes into a by 1, that dumbs it down to almost like a Gen 2. So I had to actually slot this bad boy right into the motherboard because the 16, the PCIe 16 slot is a Gen 3 slot on this motherboard. It's the ASRock H110 mining motherboard. So I had it in the one spot on there and didn't want to boot up properly. It was giving me driver errors, and so me and Mikkel figured out that we had to slot it into the board. So if you guys are running GRIN mining cards and you want a bunch of them, you've got to make sure that everything that it slots into is Gen 3 for the PCIe. You cannot do it through risers. It was saying something about maybe one of the more expensive ones. There are ones that these are true Gen 3s, but I'd be curious because on the motherboard side of it, it's going into by 1s, which they're Gen 2 by 1s. So can be issues sometimes. So I don't know if it's possible to do it with a riser, but certainly can slot them into the board if you can. That's what I ended up having to do. So let's dig into what this is all about, guys. So let me flip this around. Let me take a look at the screen. Let me lock this down, of course. And I can boot this up. Damn. Now with Ubuntu, everything is done through command line. So if you're not used to command line, this, like me, is going to be an epic learning curve. And that's pretty much what it was for me. It was a big learning curve. So, looks like I might be a little too close. Let me back this away just a pinch. And of course. Come on, focus out. There we go. Bam. I don't know why it does that every single time. So bam, I lock everything down so it doesn't move. Awesome. So this is Ubuntu basically opening up. And let me grab my other keyboard because now I'm running on two different computers. Alright, so you'll notice here, this says terminal. This is your lifeblood to the whole thing. turn this a little bit more, give the camera a better angle, I think. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Now, I don't know how well it's going to pick up. I don't have a video capture card to be able to like just pull video off of it and bring it into my streaming computer. And every once in a while, I don't know why, but I think it just doesn't like the ROCm driver, and it keeps like giving like a weird error, but it hasn't affected me at all. So, like I was saying, this is pretty much your command line. Everything is done through here. So, I've got some cheat sheets up on my other computer here that helps me, because like I can't remember all the stuff. This is still very, very new to me. So fan speed control, I can open that up, and then this one, yeah. So I get both of my cheat sheets up real quick. Make sure I got that like that. Bam. All right, cool. So the first thing that I would actually end up doing is you can come up into files. I can shut this down here. And the AMD fans, you got anytime that you're loading this up, I've got to actually go into here and reset the fans. Now, most people don't realize this. I certainly did, and I kind of had to ask Crypto Mikkel on this one. I was like, well, how do I make the adjustments on this? Because, like, I'm a Windows user. So from Windows, you open up a file, and you got this stuff. You click on it, and it does stuff. Linux is not the same. So what he was telling me was you open up the file, the location. So this is basically the location of the files. And then in the file, you can right-click it, pull up this, and then you open up a terminal from here. Now, this terminal now is the terminal that's going to communicate to the file location. So this is how you sit there and play with the program. So now, like I said, I have to do this every time I boot this thing up. I have to basically turn the fans on. If I want to see the sensors, I've got to turn the sensors on. So let's go ahead and get the fans rolling here. So, and whenever you're typing anything in, sudo means that you're basically I'm taking a guess. I think it's like the header for saying that you're the owner and you're commanding it to do something, kind of like Simon Says. At least that's my understanding for all intents and purposes to me. Let's see here. Sudo /AMD GPU. So this is somewhat basically coding in its more simpler form. Dash, because you got to set the argument up manually on here. Pro fans .sh -s, and let's do 50. So I'm gonna do a 50% fan speed on this. Enter. It's gonna ask me for a lovely password, and bam, fan set to 50%. Yo, look at that. So now I can go ahead and close that down. I can close this down, and I can go into my apps, and where did it go? I thought I had something here. Aha, here it is. Alright, so now it's turning on my sensors and all that good stuff. It's always nice to have a little bit of live data of what's actually going on, and as I'm sitting here waiting for that to just quickly load up. Awesome. So I can come up over here now, and we can see my fan RPM is at 1900, temperature is at 29 C, and I'm using less than 1 volt. I wish I can get this to change over to watts or something, but it won't do it. Not going to do it, so whatever. Then you can come up over here. Oop. Of course, click once. I'm so used to Windows and a double click. Can you guys tell? And then I can come into my downloads and you go into the Epic Miner. Now, I don't expect everybody to have this stuff. I don't even expect anybody to really have the GRIN miner. This is just more or less for testing purposes. So, from here, again, I had an issue trying to get this to load up, so I had to have Mikkel tell me how to do this one again. So, once I had this loaded up here, this is where I do my configuration, guys. Bam. So you could get a dummy email address like I have here. You can backslash test or anything, and put in your server address here, and then the pool password. This is the pool password, so I put that in. Started mining. Yo. And then down here for the plugin name, the means for the CL, I wanted to make sure that everything kind of configured properly. But whenever I started it up, it had device equals 1, and it would not connect. I had an instant drive failure. So what we ended up figuring out between me and Mikkel, again, big shout out for this man who kind of helped walk me through my first run through on Linux. But we kind of figured out that I had it in GPU slot 0, not 1, so it wasn't looking for the card properly. So as soon as I put 0 here, it started mining away. Yo, legit for sure. So you're gonna go. Whenever you get it, these two parentheses are going to be next to each other, so you just fill out this area. Whatever device slot you have it in. If you have multiple ones in, I think you just put comma or something like that. Comma or a space is usually the argument that I usually find works. Once you have all of that, you just click save, close out, and then you can come up over to here and open up the terminal. Again, the lifeblood of making things work. It's not like Windows where you click on it and it just starts doing stuff. No. So from here, I can do /backslash PIC dash oops. Dang it. Stupid old keyboard. And yes. And as it just sits there and starts to mine away. Trying to look at this screen all sideways. You know how hard it is to sit here and type away when you're looking at it all goofy. And bam, yo guys, let me blow this up for you. Bam. GRIN 29. Yo, look at that. So we got 2.458 graphs per second, right? Not sure which way it needs to be. I think it's graphs per, yeah, last graph time was 2.1. Yeah, so graphs per second is 0.462. And I do not have any BIOS modding on here. This is all stock from the way that Sapphire sent it over to me. Whenever I look on Poolside, because I just turned it off so that I could show you guys it all booting up and how I've got to turn this all on to get it working. So whenever it was mining away, I had gotten a high side of 1.2, so it kind of looked like it fluctuated between 0.5 to like 1.2 graphs per second. So that is actually not too bad. Looks like the wattage is like right around 150 watts. I think I have to get a watt meter to actually throw this thing down on and see what it's actually pulling when it starts to mine. But it's definitely over 100 watts. I don't know the conversion for what is this? 1.1 volts into the wattage on this rig. Again, I'd have to get a watt meter to really be able to tell what the rig's actual output is. Considering I do know what the motherboard's going to pull, we're looking at 54 watts from the CPU. You're looking at another, I'd say give or take another 30 watts for fans that I have on the rig, and then another 15 to 20 watts for the motherboard itself. So everything is pretty power efficient, so it's just a matter of what the card actually is pulling. It looked like whenever Mikkel was talking to me about it, it's going to be pulling like right around that 150 to 160 watt range. So according to the information that I actually have, let's see here. So according to like some of the information that I have, whenever I had it on Hive OS, it actually, with Hive OS on Raven Coin, it got 2.2 hash per second, but the Raven miners did not like the drivers for the GRIN miner, so it wouldn't turn the fans on, so I didn't let it run long enough to know what the power draw was off of that. On Ethereum Classic, the power draw was between 103 to 120 watts. 103 watts when I undervolted it. With it undervolted, it was like 30.11 mega hash on Ethereum Classic. About the same thing on Ethereum. It was right around 30.14 on Ethereum. And with no BIOS modding on them, it was like 24.85 on Ethereum Classic, but that was at the 120 watt range. So temperatures on this card were pretty decent. I've yet to see this thing go over like 55C. To me, that's an excellent place for a graphics card to sit at. Let's see here. XMR with no BIOS mod on it was 704.4 hash a second, running at about 113 watts. Now, the Team Red Miner, which did help my 580s, it actually took my 580s and put them into like a 2 cores, split them up, and I was getting somewhere like right around 1200 hash per second on XMR, which is I was kind of surprised that Team Red Miner did not react the same way. So if Team Red Miner got some tweaks together and were able to optimize it, the GRIN miner might unlock the 2 cores and would actually hit in the ballpark of a Vega 64 at probably right around 1800 hash per second. That's right around where the Vega 64 is. If they can get the drivers on Team Redminer to unlock the GRIN mining core, that would be awesome. But I'm wondering if, because of the fact that the Team Redminer did not work, that what they did on the back end over at Sapphire, how they got it to achieve with the 16 gigabytes of memory on here, if it was just a memory upgrade, or did they run like a hybrid chip, like is this an FPGA that's acting like a 570? These are questions that we'll have to ask Sapphire directly and see if they might have any answers to it, if they're able to indulge the information out, which I understand if it's if they can't say anything. We're at the mercy of what information that they're allowed to actually say. So I don't want to get anybody, mad if I ask, really hard questions and try pressuring that they have to answer it. So if they're unable to answer, it is what it is. So, but it would be interesting to know if this is like a hybrid graphics card of some sort. It does shoot video. So I'd be wondering if this thing can actually like play video games or whatnot on it. But the only drawback is it's only got one HDMI port on it. That is it. So you could tell that they've stripped the card down to some degree to make it run as a miner. So I haven't overclocked this on Linux yet. So I've got to figure out what tool I can use to get the overclockings to work on here and kind of go from there. So I hope that you guys kind of and let me see if it actually pulled up because I'm trying to kind of stall out and like give it some time to start hashing out onto the pool a little bit here. So of course it always takes like a good 10 minutes for a worker to show up onto the pool and actually submit some shares. So I'm trying to like stall out before I call the video. Yeah, it's looking like it's just being a little sluggish. It's starting to post a hash rate to the pool, but it's being slow. It's got like 7 shares, so it's putting out 0.28, but like I said, I saw it hit like between 0.58 to 1.2 hash for its primary hash rate. So that's actually not too bad. Of course, the computer's trying to turn off on me. Stop trying to turn off on me. Of course. Of course. Alright, bam. Stop going to sleep, computer. Simon did not say so. So yeah, like I was saying, I've got a few different options that I'm trying to figure out right now for overclocking tools, but at least I've got a way to be able to control the fan so that nothing gets overheated. And let's give this one more chance to sit there and see if it'll actually post hash rate now. Nope, it don't want to post, so because I just started up, it'll be probably another 5 minutes before it starts to really submit its shares and posting a hash rate. So I hope you guys found this very interesting, like myself. I did find it very, very interesting, and I'll be doing some more testing probably tomorrow and seeing about doing some overclocking, and I hope you guys stay tuned to me tomorrow. I'll post some information out onto my channel here. Otherwise, I'll be on Decentralized TV tonight, and I'll be on Decentralized TV tomorrow night. And I'll probably give out some pretty good information come tomorrow night, because I think I'll save the overclocking aspect of it for tomorrow for late night in the mines on Decentralized TV, guys. And of course, like always, smash that Lizzie like button. Subscribe if you haven't. Share these videos with people that you might find it interesting to watch this. and subscribe, hit the bell notification, all that good stuff. Take some notes, write some comments down. Let me know what you think. What would you like me to do with this card next? Give me some ideas, guys. And like always, I will see you guys on the next one.